Good evening, everyone. Along with John Andres, I'm Mike Breen. Tonight, the Knicks start a stretch 4. The next 5 games are on the road, and they've lost 4 straight on the road. But, John, they get good news coming into tonight because Larry Johnson is back. Johnson missed the last game on Tuesday because of the ankle injury, but he'll be back in the starting lineup tonight, and they certainly need Larry Johnson, even though the team responded well without him on Tuesday.
Yes, they did respond well without him, certainly, Mike, but Larry Johnson, like some other Knicks, have stepped up big in many of the games now without Patrick Ewing. And we go back now to December 30th, the first time the Knicks visited Orlando this season. And Larry Johnson was a major factor in the game with his inside play. Amazing, operating against bigger people. He was able to get done what he does best, and that is score inside. And, of course, with the versatility in his game when needed, he stepped outside with a big effort. Hit a couple of threes as well. In 42 minutes, he was tremendous with 26 points, 10 of 16. Shot the ball wherever he was, added 4 rebounds to the total, too, and he really was a key part of that second-half comeback, which lifted the Knicks to victory.
Not only is Johnson back, but Buck Williams, who's missed the past 4 games with the knee injury, he'll be able to play tonight. As for the Magic, Anthony Hardaway, he missed his last game because of a calf injury, but that's the least of Hardaway's problems. As everyone knows, Penny Hardaway's been the subject of trade rumors. In fact, was almost traded to New Jersey in a 3-team deal that seemed to be completed. But, of course, trades hit snags, and Hardaway remains in Orlando. Hardaway is going to play tonight. He will be in the starting lineup for head coach Chuck Daly. He was at the morning shoot-around today and is warming up, ready for tonight. And he's admitted that it's been a problem for him in terms of dealing with it in the past, but he was asked about the impact of all the rumors on his play right now.
Well, it doesn't have an impact on me. If it does, then it's just going to be positive because, I know I have to really just come back out and just play good basketball. All I have to do is get healthy and just play good basketball, and all let it go away.
Well, Penny, no question, is going to be tough for the Knicks. The Knicks haven't seen Penny Hardaway this year. He's an all-star performer. He always is and probably always will be, so he'll be a tough man for the Knicks. Meanwhile, Penny has his mind, though, on that February 19th trading deadline with all the talk swirling around him. So it's his job not to be distracted.
He made a big deal this week of saying he wants to stay in Orlando and will not ask for an outrageous contract when he becomes a free agent after next season. We'll certainly see about that. Starting lineups and opening tip-off when we return from the arena. Marriott Marquis, Broadway's biggest hit. And let's get to our public address announcer, Paul Porter, on the Knicks starting lineups after Larry Johnson.
At center, 6'11" from Yale, number 14, Chris Dudley. At one guard, 6'6" from Tennessee, number 20, Allen Houston. And at the other guard, 6'2" from Florida State, number 21, Charlie Ward. The athletic trainers of the Knicks, Mike Saunders and Ted Hamden. The assistant coaches, Greg Brittenham, Don Chaney, Brendan Malone, Jeff Nix, and Tom Thibodeau. And the head coach of the Knicks is Jeff Van Gundy. Tonight's J.C. Penney Honorary Ball Kid is Lance Harms. Thanks for helping us out tonight. From Houston, number 45, At center, 6'11" from Syracuse, number 4, Ronnie St. And one guard, 6'6" from Illinois, number 20, manager of the Magic is Rodney Powell. Strength and conditioning coach Mick Smith. Athletic trainer Jim Walsh. Assistant coaches Brendan Surge, Ree Rollins, and Tom Sterner. And the head coach of the Magic is Chuck Daly.
Chuck Daly's Magic 2 games under 500. But, of course, they've played a lot this season without their all-star guard, Penny Hardaway. But Hardaway ready to go. He does not want to leave Orlando, the subject of trade rumors, but he's not the only one. His teammate Nick Anderson also does not want to see him go.
You got a franchise player, you talk so much about building around him, build around him, and let out other stuff, you know, out the window, you know. It's just, to even think about something like that, it's crazy to me, to even, you know, to even toss his name up into something like that. Here's a guy who's only 25 years old, who hasn't done what he's going to do in this league. You know, you've seen, you know, the little bit that he can do. The best is yet to come. So, yeah, it's crazy. It's ridiculous to me. That's my own personal opinion. It's ridiculous. You know, I wouldn't even sit around and think of anything like that.
One correction on Nick Anderson. Hardaway is 26, but he's right. When this guy is healthy, John, he's definitely in the top 5 all-around players. He is one of the brilliant basketball players in the world today. When he's healthy and he's head on straight, he can be just unbelievable, as you saw in last year's playoff against Miami.
Well, he averaged 31 a game in that series, and no question about his ability. However, I don't think that the Magic feel they've gotten their money's worth. And looking at the next contract, they don't feel perhaps that he is going to be worth the market value that he enjoys and will continue to enjoy. Sometimes that doesn't work what the market value is and what the team can pay you.
He only played 59 games last year. He's only played in 18 this year. So durability is a factor. There's Chris Dudley and Ronnie Cycli at center court. And we're set to go. Dudley on the back tap. Our officials, Bob Delaney, one of the best in the league, along with Teddy Bernhardt and Leroy Richardson. Knicks, as we said, have beat the Magic twice this season. Both games, though, have been close contests. Knicks have been without Patrick Ewing in both of those. Allen Houston and Nick Anderson. Houston aggressive and scores the game's first point.
And Anderson yells something at Allen Houston as he turns around and runs up court. Of course, the Knicks haven't seen Nick Anderson, who's been on quite a positive roll lately, and Hardaway as well.
Both those players out with injuries in the first 2 meetings between the 2 clubs. Shot clock down to 8. Anderson. Charles Oakley boxing out. Rifles the pass to Houston. Wide open Larry Johnson. And poor transition defense by the Magic.
Well, I tell you, talk about transition offense. Larry Johnson has emerged as one of the best. He's beating everybody down court these days.
For a guy with a tender ankle, Johnson moving very quickly. Magic ball. Ronnie Cycli has been Jekyll and Hyde in the 2 games against the Knicks. The one here in Orlando, he was horrible and then erupted for a superb game in New York at the Garden. And it's going to be a backcourt violation, so the Magic a slow start. They turn it over. Knicks leading 4-0, just over a minute gone by. Chuck Daly, his first year back on the sidelines. It has not been an easy one for him. Inconsistent play and a team that just doesn't shoot the ball well, John.
Chuck came in with a big smile tonight because one of his very close friends and professional buddies, Billy Cunningham, was walking alongside of him.
Knicks trying to get Houston involved, not expecting the pass till the Knicks turn it over. Anderson stripped. Here comes Charlie Ward. Hardaway chases him, but Ward able to put it down. The Knicks start off with a 6-0 run.
Knicks are starting off also, Mike, like they finished here in Orlando on December 30th. After a lackluster first half, they lifted up the defensive efforts big time in the second half and won the game that way.
Horace Grant gets the Magic on the board. Hardaway chases him, but Ward able to put it down. The Knicks start off with a 6-0 run.
Knicks are starting off also, Mike, like they finished here in Orlando on December 30th. After a lackluster first half, they lifted up the defensive efforts big time in the second half and won the game that way.
Horace Grant gets the Magic on the board. 6-2, Knicks the early lead. Knicks the first hit their first 3 shots from the field. Houston and Anderson, a good matchup as Charlie Ward puts up the 3. Anderson, the long rebound. Both those players, of course, Houston, since Ewing's been out with the injury, has really picked up his game. And Nick Anderson, who's been pretty much lost the last couple of years, has really not played well. He's had his best stretch in a while. And he is tough. It's a very tough matchup. Cycling. Does not get the roll. Oakley tips it a couple of times. It goes out of bounds. And it's going to be Orlando ball. Charles Oakley coming off the near triple-double on Tuesday against Charlotte. And a night where the Knicks really needed him, with Larry Johnson and Buck Williams both out with injuries. 2.5 gone by. Knicks lead it 6-2. Hardaway. Anderson. That's the way he's been playing. He's been drilling threes lately as well, making over 42% of them. 6-4. Knicks lead. Oakley wide open. And Charles Oakley makes the magic pay. Extra pass. Extra pass always works. Knicks with an 8-4 lead. 4 of the 5 starters already on the board. Tough matchup certainly for Charlie Ward. Anthony Hardaway goes about 6-7. Hardaway, though, not 100%. As he puts up the shot, won't go. The Ward call for the foul. Of course, he had the knee surgery earlier in the year and forced him to miss so many games. Ward's first
number 21, Charlie Ward.
And then in the first game back since the All-Star break, Hardaway injuring his calf. He took a lot of heat in the area, John, and even some of his teammates were not happy. As after he had surgery, he rehabbed back in Houston. He wasn't here in Orlando, did not travel with the team, wasn't at the home games, was back in Houston, stayed away from the team, and that annoyed a lot of people.
Well, I'm sure this management, which has a right to be sensitive after committing to a $70 million contract in his last deal, measures all of those things as to what a player's impact can be. And a player of his level of earning and expectation has to do more than just score points. He's got to be a leader, and that's a question mark also with him. Off the court, on the court, you know, you got a lot of responsibilities when you're at that level.
Charlie Ward with 6 on the shot clock. Does not get the layup to fall. Backward quick outlet to Hardaway. Hardaway, rifle pass down low. Bo Outlaw kicks it back out. 4 minutes gone by in the first. Knicks lead it 8-6. Good ball movement. Nick Anderson hits his second shot. Game tied at 8. Houston now with Outlaw guarding him on the switch. Shot clock down to 6. Houston on a pull-up. Gets knocked down. Hardaway the rebound and is fouled by Dudley. And Chris Dudley will pick up his first. We mentioned Hardaway was injured the first game back just against Indiana on Tuesday night. And that's where he came up lame. Had to leave the game because of it.
And the Orlando Magic came up lame also with 66-point total. The lowest scoring of the year against Indiana.
That injury on Hardaway, a left calf muscle strain. But he's okay, not 100%. Outlaw touch pass, Dudley the foul, counted and one for Ronnie Cycli. And the Magic have their first lead as they're on a 10-2 run.
Foul number 14, Chris Dudley.
Well, nice pass inside, a touch pass from Outlaw. Cycli makes a very difficult shot. You can see him go up and draw the foul. Cycli was rendered invisible last time here against the Knicks because the starting center that night was Buck Williams, who took all the space away from him. And you alluded to his poor game, Mike, and it certainly was a bad game for Cycli.
Cycli, like Hardaway, John, excuse me, he's been bothered by trade rumors. Very sensitive when it comes to that, and they feel it's affected his play. Illegal defense called against the Magic. Their first, so a warning, and the Knicks will inbound.
In that game on December 30th, Cycli only had 2 points, but he was invisible in the game because Buck Williams gave him no space. And you know Jeff Van Gundy's going to remember that if Cycli gets any kind of momentum here going in the first quarter.
Ward with the penetration. Oakley can't handle a pass. It goes out of bounds. And we'll have our first timeout. 6:56 remaining first quarter. Magic on a 9-2 run as the Knicks trail by 3. 11-8, 6:56 remaining in the first. Of course, Hardaway the subject of trade rumors and was bothered by that. General Manager John Gabriel talked about that and how the players have to deal with those type of rumors all the time.
I mean, that is why I'm giving you a lot of no comment answers on speculation of trades. It's a thing that really doesn't serve a lot of purpose to really anyone, because most trades do not happen, so it's not really the most factual news for the fans. And also that you have players with lives, livelihoods, families, and the discussion with them, as it would be for any of you, about pack your bags, you're going to Green Bay, kids out of school, is all very scary. And from that standpoint, because of the volatile nature of trades and because so many of them do not happen, it behooves us not to discuss it and keep it as low profiled as possible. However, when it comes to dealing with a player of the profile of Penny Hardaway, that's often quite difficult to do.
Could not agree with Gabriel more, John, because I think the average fan, as we see Oakley hit the shot, I think the average fan, including us or anyone who's not a professional athlete, doesn't realize how traumatic that can be to think that you're going to be uprooted at any moment.
Particularly a guy like Hardaway, who's been thought of really as the junior franchise after Shaquille O'Neal, certainly. When they were teammates, Hardaway was the second person known as the man.
Good hustle down low for the Knicks as you see Buck Williams has entered the game. He's missed the past 4 games with the sore left knee. And he was really responsible for the defense on Cycli in the first game between the two. Williams does such a good job fronting Ron Cycli. The officials now discussing how much time on the shot clock. They're going to put 21. Magic will set up the offense. They actually reset the 24 shot clock. Cycli against Buck Williams. And they wave it off. The foul's going to be called against Buck Williams.
Foul number 52, Buck Williams.
You know, general managers go nuts, John, with those trade rumors when they get leaked. Some talk about it a lot more. John Gabriel goes the route of he doesn't want to say a word, and that can be frustrating to the fan and to the media, but for the players' sensitivities, it's probably the right thing to do.
John also is very sensitive to that. I think he made that point.
Hardaway misses the 3. A loose ball foul is going to be called against Orlando. And it goes against Horace Grant, who, as you can see, objects to the call.
Horace looks like Horace saw something or felt something that the officials didn't see based on his demonstration.
11-10. Knicks trailing by 1. Johnson double team. Buck Williams the offensive rebound. Ward and Buck Williams jumper. Knicks back up by 1. Just under 5.5 remaining here in the first. Another loud crowd at the arena, one of the loudest places in the league. Hardaway with a move. Ball knocked out of bounds. Knicks will take it.
Interesting. It will be interesting to see if Hardaway and the Orlando Magic decide to post up the much shorter Charlie Ward, who's guarding Hardaway. Decide to post up the much shorter Charlie Ward, who's guarding Hardaway, but they're sticking in their traditional type offense with Hardaway outside so far.
Ward again on the penetration, and a hand check called on Hardaway.
Foul number 1, Penny Hardaway.
That's going to be the second team foul against the Magic. And first against Hardaway. Knicks will inbound. Jeff Van Gundy has said the goals are less than 15 turnovers and shoot over 45%. And that was accomplished in the first game against Charlotte since the All-Star break.
Those numbers say good things happen when the Knicks adhere to that formula.
Houston, three-pointer in and out. Nick Anderson for the rebound. Knicks lead by 1, 12-11. Anderson going coast to coast. A little out of control. Oakley saves it to Ward.
Twice this offense of Orlando came down and did that. Last time it was Hardaway.
And Houston this time gets the bounce, and the Knicks back up by 3. Allen Houston with 4 points. We've seen the Knicks, John, when the fast break opportunities are there, they've become a pretty good fast break team. Ward with the steal on Hardaway. Johnson against Outten. Larry Johnson knocks it down, and the Knicks lead by 5.
Larry Johnson looks at his man, threatens the drive. The guy goes back on his heels a trifle, and then he has that jump shot. And when he's making them, he's very difficult to deal with.
Knicks with 8 straight points. They're shooting 61% from the field. Nice give and go. Cycling off to Outlaw and 1. Full Outlaw draws the foul, and he'll have a chance for a 3-point play.
Oh, nice play inside. Nice look from Cycli passing that ball, and then Outlaw finishing it. Outlaw comes off a strong game against Minnesota in that win on Wednesday night. 14 points, 12 rebounds, 5 assists. Nice numbers.
Outlaw, who is a horrible free throw shooter, hits that one beautifully. Only 56% from the line, but completes the 3-point play. There's the shooting to start. Knicks lead by 2. 3:45 remaining in the first. For the next 5 games for the Knicks on the road, a place they've struggled recently. Houston misfires, Cycli the rebound. Outlaw makes the move. Hardaway, that's a 3. Cycli pushing off Buck Williams to get the rebound. Cannot connect, and Larry Johnson grabs the board. Now Johnson has Nick Anderson with him on the switch, but Bo Outlaw defends it perfectly.
Soft pass by Allen Houston.
He telegraphed the entry pass. Knicks turned it over for the 3rd time. Magic turn it over for the 4th time. Chris Childs in the game. Knicks with a 3-on-2. Nice feed to Larry Johnson. Cannot make the layup. Outlaw made him adjust it a little bit, just enough to miss.
A lot of balance here so far by both teams. 10 players have played. We only have 30 points on the board.
Cycli. Grant with a long-range shot. Horace Grant. His 2nd field goal. Game tied at 16.
That's why Horace has been one of the best power forwards in the NBA for years, because he can do a little bit of everything, like make long jump shots.
On the Magic bench, had a meeting with General Manager John Gabriel, and Gabriel couldn't get him any guarantees that he wasn't going to trade him again. So it could still happen, and Hardaway was asked if he's anxiously waiting for that February 19 trading deadline to come and go.
I'm really just, you know, based my last few days on just thinking that I'm going to get traded. I have to continue to play like I'm going to be here. And until anything happens, you know, I just have to continue to play hard. It's tough because I've been here for 5 years, and you know, I'm not knocking the Nets, but I don't really want to play there. And you know, I want to stay here, and you know, if it happened, then I would have to go there and then just you know, start all over again. But you know, I really can't see myself in that environment right now.
Once again, John, you know, normally you think the players complain about far too many things. This is one time that I feel for them in their sensitivities on something like this. The trading rumors can really affect the player.
Well, I don't know, Mike, how many players, you know, of that category, beautiful drive by Allen Houston, have been affected after the trade's been made. I mean, they kind of know the nature of sports is what it is, you know, and God knows they're making so much money. They can live in a big house in any part of this country.
No, absolutely. But it's just something that everyday people don't have to deal with knowing that at any time.
Particularly if you have young children who perhaps might even be in school. That's I think the roughest part. The kids are in school.
Charles Oakley committing a foul and then coming close to a technical as he knocks into Mark Price, who just checked in. Oakley helping out on defense. How do you argue that? John Starks will come in for the first time. Actually did not make it in time. So we'll come in at the next whistle.
The last game here, Charles Oakley got in foul trouble early. Only played 18 minutes in that win for the Knicks. He was very quiet, and 5 personal fouls kept him on the bench because of that. Only had a field goal in the game, so the Knicks naturally are hoping Charles doesn't get into that kind of trouble again.
And how about that? Mark Price missing a free throw. He goes 1 of 2. All-time leader in career free throw percentage, Mark Price. Knicks lead it by 1. Oakley, beautiful fake. Mills on the short baseline shot.
Well, remember the game in New York, the Saturday after the game here in Orlando, Mills broke loose with a tremendous game, 20-point game against his team. That's when the advertisement that Chris Mills can be tough, physically tough, came out. He was playing like a power forward in that game.
Cycli not taking no for an answer. The second effort. And Ronnie Cycli now with 5 points, 5 rebounds. Knicks lead by 1. Starks finds Oakley. Again, Oakley on a little fake. Poor pass, but it gets deflected right back. Shot clock at 8. Mills with a hand at his face. Oakley knocks it away, but Hardaway gets it back. Price, the dish. Bo Outlaw draws the foul, and he'll shoot 2. Chris Childs will pick up his first with 50.2 seconds remaining. Outlaw will go to the line.
Outlaw shooting 2.
Outlaw, who comes into the season a career 49% free throw shooter. So he's actually much better this year. As I mentioned, he's at 56%. And now he's 2 for 2 tonight. Little difference between his teammate and Outlaw.
Right. However, field goal percentage-wise, he's the best on the team.
And he is a great story. His 5th year out of Houston. Not drafted, originally signed as a free agent. 4 years with the LA Clippers, goes 1 of 2 this time. Game tied at 20, final minute, first quarter. Buck Williams against Cycli. Little jump hook, short, Grant the rebound. Price pushing it up the floor.
Can't get around the corner, though. Childs is right with him, and Starks helping out.
Childs right with him again. And a 3-second violation called against the Magic. Jeff Van Gundy quickly signaling for Allen Houston to come in. Knicks, of course, like that final play with the shot clock winding down where Houston takes it one-on-one. So Buck Williams will sit down for the final 20 seconds of the first period. Nick Anderson will come in. Cycli sits down. Anderson, no doubt, sent out to defend Houston on the play. Shot clock is turned off. Tie game here in the first.
Allen Houston has just the right amount of time now to do what he wants to do.
This time quickly passes off to Starks. Starks on a penetration, and he draws a foul. John Starks will shoot a couple. Bo Outlaw called for the foul. Whistle was a little bit late, but Starks will go to the line and shoot 2, and that was, I think, the objection, but Outlaw did not seem to be too bothered by the call. There was some contact.
John Starks was such an emotional part of the Knicks victory last time here as he goes to the foul line for the first time for the Knicks. And, of course, he comes off to that excellent game on Tuesday night against Charlotte. But at halftime, last time the Knicks were trailing here in Orlando, they didn't look strong, and they came out with a big burst, and John Starks had a lot to do with it. And look at what he did Tuesday. John Starks had a lot to do with it. And look at what he did Tuesday along with Allen Houston against the Charlotte Hornets as the Knicks put together as a team. Look at that backcourt, huh? 47 points out of the 2 of them, and are both shooting very well.
16 of those 26 in the fourth, including what was pretty much the game clincher, that runner to the basket. So Starks and the Knicks with their first free throws here in the first quarter, both successful. Knicks by 2. 6.5 seconds remaining. Outlaw. Anderson, a wide open 3. Hardaway will not get it off in time, and even though he missed it, Jeff Van Gundy very upset to see a wide open 3-pointer on a final shot of the first quarter. 1 quarter complete in Orlando. Knicks by 2. Knicks lead by 2, and we here at MSG, we've tried to cover every angle of the Penny Hardaway story throughout the day. We've talked to Penny himself, to his teammates. We've talked to the general manager, and yes, John Andres even tracked down Anthony Hardaway's best friend, Little Penny.
Little Penny, you've made it clear that you don't wish to be traded and that Orlando is where you want to stay.
I know my spot, fool.
Little Penny, will your calf injury be a factor tonight and allow the Knicks to stay with you?
The Secret Service couldn't guard me.
Little Penny, I understand you have no hard feelings toward the New Jersey Nets and their fans, and that you'd like us to relay that to them.
Can you do that for brother?
You had a special rapport.
He's terrific. You know, he's very sensitive to all that's going on around him, Mike. And, you know, we chat. You could see he didn't even eat his dinner there when we were chatting. He was just so engrossed in our conversation.
Shot starts, misfires. He's become more famous than Anthony. Price and Outlaw. Derek Harper in for the first time. Grant makes his move, left-handed, and Outlaw takes it in. Excellent hustle from Bo Outlaw, and the Magic lead by 2. Shooting percentages right now, Knicks at 50%, Magic 43%. Childs has it poked away by Price and loses the ball. Good defense from Mark Price. He's not known for that aspect of the game, but the Knicks turn it over. 4 turnovers now for the Knicks. Derek Strong posting up Oakley. Harper wide open. That's a 2-pointer for Derek Harper, who's actually been not in the rotation recently, John. He hadn't been playing well. He'd been banged up a little bit, but he's going to get some time now that Darrell Armstrong, their backup point guard, is out for the season with a rotator cuff injury. And Jeff Van Gundy sees the Magic score 6 straight points to start the second, so he calls a 20-second timeout. So while Van Gundy chats with his team, we'll tell you about this weekend coming up. More great NBA action all coming your way. And it'll start tomorrow at 7:30. The Nets against the Sixers on Fox Sports New York. Then Sunday night, MSG. The Knicks at the Garden to battle the Cavaliers. Later start, 8 p.m. Knicks and Cavs all coming away this weekend on MSG and Fox Sports New York. Check your local listings.
You mentioned Derek Harper's play, Mike. He has started 19 games for this season, as the Magic have had their share of injuries. But now coming off the bench and in more limited time, he can be very, very tough. He's still in great shape. And you can see he loves to chat with his former teammate, John Starks.
36 years old. Maybe can't do it every night like he used to, but the experience takes him a long way. He still has a lot left as Mills again telegraphs the pass. Boy, Bo Outlaw really plays that entry pass well.
That was some play Outlaw made. Try and do that if you're a basketball player, what he did.
Grant on a beautiful feed from Mark Price. An 8-0 run to start the second quarter for the Magic, and their largest lead of the game thus far. John Starks. Mills the offensive board.
Krause trying to direct the offense, spreading it out. Clear out for Larry Johnson.
Johnson with a jumper. And Larry Johnson now 6 points. Knicks trail 28-24. Johnson was saying before the game he was very proud of the performance against Charlotte with Buck Williams and Johnson both out.
He also went out of his way the other day to dispel rumors of his back hurting him.
Price turns it over. Knicks come the other way. A 4-on-2 break. Childs, nice feed to Starks. And the Knicks with 4 quick points. They trail by 2.
See how Starks adjusted on that shot, released it before he got to the top of his jump so it wouldn't be blocked.
28-26. Knicks behind. Just over 3 minutes gone by. Second quarter. Harper with a baseline move. Outlaw. Couple of head fakes. Derek Strong from the elbow. Johnson the rebound.
Strong, another man who didn't play against the Knicks, was out injured.
Mills on the pull-up. And the Knicks quickly answer back with a 6-0 run of their own. Chris Mills, who's been shooting the ball well recently, he has 4 points. Game tied at 28. Atlaw's pass to Strong. Ball knocked out of bounds. And it's still going to be Magic ball. 12 on the shot clock as Cycli and Anderson will return. Outlaw and Grant will sit. 12 left on the 24. Harper, another quick two-pointer. Ball knocked loose by Anderson. Cycli saves it, knocks it off Child's leg, and no, they're going to say that it's off Cycli. Cycli protesting the call, as is Chuck Daly. The entire Magic bench. Cycli daring Oakley to shoot. He does, and he puts it in.
You know, there's just the intensity on defense for the Magic isn't what Chuck Daly wants it to be. That's clear. The Knicks are getting a lot of good looks.
And after an 8-0 run by the Knicks, Chuck Daly calls timeout, still yelling at the officials. 7:47 remaining in the second. Responsibly, because friends know when to say when. A reminder from your friends at Budweiser. What a head, huh? Like to grab it.
You know about that. You got one of those, don't you, on your knee?
Knicks in transition, John.
Yes, John Starks getting a nice pass from Chris Childs, and Childs to Oakley on another AT&T. Great connection. Charles Oakley looked at, Mike at Cycli and just poured it in.
Second quarter started with the Magic on an 8-0 run. Knicks have bounced back with their own 8-0 run. They lead by 2. With just over 7.5 remaining in the second. Along with John Andres, Mike Breen on hand, Orlando Arena. And a whistle. This one will go against the Knicks. Chris Mills in his defense. First team foul.
His first team foul.
Not a lot of fouls. Not a lot of foul shots either for the Knicks. Only 2 so far in the first half. Magic with 8. Dudley back in the game guarding Cycli. Nick Anderson working his way. Nice move from Nick Anderson. He's got 6, and the game is tied at 30.
Anderson similar in size to Chris Mills and can do many things like shoot that jumper as he just did, but setting himself up so well with his power body.
He missed 15 games earlier this season with a broken left hand. And as we mentioned, he's starting to play his best basketball in a couple of years over the last half dozen games. Big game against the Timberwolves, a victory in Minneapolis. A big victory for Orlando. They played without Hardaway and still won on the road.
Big part of his game is that he also gets a ton of rebounds.
Mills double team, still gets the shot off and able to get the roll. Knicks by 2. Chris Mills with 6 points. Knicks with a lot of balance. Houston, Johnson, Oakley, and Mills all lead the team with 6 apiece. Knicks shooting 58% from the field. Cycli with 8 on the shot clock.
He wanted Harper to cut off him.
Price, 2 on the shot clock, the runner. Nick Anderson, the offensive rebound. Everybody getting the bounce. Rim's very loose, it appears, tonight.
Well, the home team usually enjoys that.
Game tied at 32, approaching the midway point tonight.
Well, the home team usually enjoys that.
Game tied at 32, approaching the midway point of the second quarter. Mills again with Price on him, draws the foul and goes down hard. Knicks doing a good job recognizing the mismatch and going right to Mills.
Well, they're hurrying into their offense, Mike, which is what Jeff Van Gundy wants. When they're in transition going to defense to offense, they're hurrying up the pace more and more. And they're getting their opponents off balance, which means they're getting good looks at the basket.
Price's first foul. As John mentioned, Mills with that 20-point game against the Magic earlier this season.
That was the Saturday night on January 3rd after they had met earlier in the week. This one was at the Garden. 8 out of 13 from the field. Hit a couple of threes as well. And forward.
One of two 20-point games this year for Mills, who's the Knicks' leading scorer right now with 8. Knicks by 2. Price, the feed to Cycli. Tries. Ball knocked out of bounds. And it's still Magic ball.
Cycli, who comes into this game having scored 1 field goal in each of the last 2 games. Not enough for him.
He has really been up and down this year. He's had some magnificent games. Blocked by Dudley. Right to 3-on-2. Childs with the move. And the Knicks lead it now 36-32.
Starks was ready for the pass back. Starks was in the middle. Childs stayed on the sideline, and he just felt he could beat his man, and he was right.
What I like about Dudley, he rejected it and kept it in play. And you see the Knicks doing the job on the fast break. Strong flips it up there. Cycli the offensive rebound and draws the foul. And Cycli will shoot 2.
Foul on number 2, Larry Johnson.
Chris Dudley
His second
with the rejection. And John, how many times do we see the macho block and they reject it out of bounds where you get the block shot but you don't retain possession? This time he keeps it in play.
Yes, that worked perfectly. Well, that's from the school of how to block shots properly. I think Bill Russell really brought that point out in his years with the Celtics and his great defensive play. Block it to your teammate. Don't send it into the stands, as you say.
Cycli hits the first free throw. I want to remind you, for coverage of the national sports scene with an eye toward the hometown team, watch Fox Sports News tonight at midnight, right here on the MSG Network. Cycli 1. Houston comes away with a rebound. By 3. Remaining in the second. Knicks at 59%. Starks. Houston has Price on him, and he's going to want to take him. And Price, that's the new rule. Can't put a hand on your man if he's facing the basket with the ball before he puts it on the floor. Only the second team foul.
You know, there hasn't been much talk about this rule, Mike, and I think as a result, players go back to the old ways and they kind of forget about it. But once in a while they lean in. You can see the ball wasn't on the floor yet, and Houston had an elbow on him.
I remember some of the officials saying they felt that would have an enormous impact this year, but it hasn't. Starks. John Starks from three-point range, and the Knicks lead it 39-33. Just under 5 minutes remaining in the second, and Cycli fouled before the shot. I believe it's on Dudley. Freddie Bernhardt said number 4, but it's 14 Dudley. So he picks up his third.
His third and third team foul. On the Knicks, number 34, Charles Oakley.
Charles Oakley will return, and Dudley will sit down.
Number 12, Derek Harper.
Jeff Van Gundy has to be very pleased with his team's effort here at both ends of the court. The Knicks look very prepared tonight for the Orlando Magic. They're really into the game. They're not letting what happened in the first half of their last game down here happen.
Knicks right now on a 17-5 run. Nick Anderson, where you can just see the difference, the body language from some of the games we've watched him on TV. He's playing with confidence. As John mentioned, Knicks have not seen Anderson nor Hardaway at all this year. This is the first time they've been healthy enough to play against him.
Or Strong also.
Shot clock at 6. Johnson, the strong move, high off the glass and gets the roll.
What a tough move.
Larry Johnson now with 8 points, and the Knicks lead at 41-35. They continue to shoot extremely well. Now it's 62%. Anderson wants to post up Houston. Oakley goes to double. Harper, that's a 3. Derek Harper from downtown.
Starks had help on the mind with Harper. He was floating away a couple of times, see if he could help out someone else. All of a sudden, the ball got back to Harper, and Starks was chasing him.
And the Knicks are going to call timeout. 3:44 remaining. Second quarter in Orlando. Knicks shooting 62%. They lead by 4. 10 on the MSG Network. Starter presents Play It Up. This week, Play It Up features New York Knicks forward Buck Williams.
Oh, Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou Romeo? Deny thy father and refuse thy name. Nor if thou wilt not be but sworn thy love, and I'll no longer be a Capulet. But thy name that is my enemy, thou art thyself, though not a Montague. What's Montague? Which is nor hand, nor foot, nor arm, nor face, nor...
Excellent concentration from the veteran Buck Williams.
Yes, Buck was under a lot of pressure there.
That's this Saturday on MSG. Larry Johnson draws the foul on Cycli. And Johnson will shoot two. Cycli expresses dismay over the call. Yeah, that's going to be his first. Knicks are shooting in the second quarter, John, 8 of 10.
Let's see. Bump it, drop, carry over the one. 80%.
That Fordham degree comes in handy very often.
Meanwhile, in the prior games, the Knicks have shot 46% each of the last 2 games against Orlando, whereas the Magic have shot 37% on the average. They've yet to break 40 against the Knicks this year.
Grant comes in. Cycli will sit down. 3:39 remaining in the second, and there are the numbers. Although that is not an aberration for this team. They are just not a good shooting team. Johnson goes 1 of 2. As overall, as a team, they're shooting under 43% for the season. Hardaway looking to post up Chris Childs. Knicks have been sending a lot of help defense on this particular play. Childs with the strip. Excellent defense from Chris Childs. Beautiful feed to Larry Johnson. Boy, Childs did it all in that sequence. And the Knicks lead by 7.
That's just terrific point guard execution. He put himself into a crowd, but he was able to pick out the open man and successfully get him the ball.
Childs with 5 assists already in coming off the bench, as Chuck Daly calls a 20-second timeout. Of course, he started it at the other end.
Yes, good defense on Hardaway, who just doesn't look that sharp yet with all the games he's missed. And as he comes down, Childs finds Larry Johnson. Another look at it again. Johnson breaks to the basket. You can see the Orlando team just, they're not communicating together inside the foul line. It's kind of every man for himself. Let's double team the ball and hope good things happen. Meanwhile, people are open when they double team the ball. No one's rotating.
Childs playing well last several games. Larry Johnson, by the way, now with 11 points. Next up for the next Sunday night, Cavs at the Garden. MCS Cannon game night kicks off our coverage at 7:30. Tip off at about 8:10. A little later start on Sunday night.
Hardaway hasn't posted up all game now till the last 2 times down court. He's 6'8", working against much smaller defenders.
4 on the shot clock. Parker. Air ball on the 3, so a 24-second violation. By the way, that last shot by Derek Harper that we called the 3, the last one that went in, they changed to a 2-pointer.
Correction, foul on number 1, Chris Childs.
Now they're going to call a foul on Chris Childs. It appeared to be a 24-second violation, but Childs picks up his second. Knicks with 14 fouls, and the Magic will get a new possession. 2:48 remaining in the first half. Knicks have been out rebounded 16-10 thus far, but their shooting has them in front. Still out at a 63% clip. Derek Strong. Backing in against Oakley. And a foul, reach-in foul called on Charles Oakley. That's going to be his second. So Strong will go to the line. Strong, another player, as John mentioned earlier, on the injured list. He missed 23 games at a sprained knee ligament, his left knee. He's a player that's got a little better every year. He's not going to put up all-star numbers for you, but he'll get you 8 to 10 points, 8 to 10 rebounds a game.
Well, there are a lot of bodies like this in professional basketball, or I should say aspiring to be there, that just don't get it done. But as you point out, he's gotten better and better as the years have gone on, and he's now made himself into an important figure for this franchise.
And pulls the Magic within 5. 2.5 remaining in the second. Three-pointer won't go. Long rebound. Taken Johnson. Nice feed to Charles Oakley, who can't get the layup to go. Starks right there. Lost it. Gets it back. Starks trying to force it up and banks it in.
John Starks.
Oakley was upset. He felt he got fouled, but Starks stayed right with it and gives the Knicks a 7-point lead. Starks now with 9 points off the bench. Anderson. Up shot won't go. Oakley the rebound.
Boy, this is a pass and one-shot offense for the Orlando Magic. Not much exchanging of the basketball at their end.
Childs on the penetration feed to Oakley, and the Knicks have their largest lead of the game. A 9-point advantage with 1:38 remaining in the first half. Chris Childs, his 6th assist in just 14 minutes of play. Grant, strong underneath. And it looked like he was going to blow that layup. Knicks didn't defend it. I think he was a little surprised.
Starks made his presence felt.
You saw the left of your screen, Mike Saunders running off the bench, letting the Knicks know that they did not have a 20-second timeout to burn. Good work from the trainer. Oakley underneath. Blocked from behind. Ball knocked loose out to Houston. Shot clock at 4. Allen Houston across the lane. Leans in. Won't get the roll. Strong the rebound. Final minute of the first half. Knicks with a 7-point lead.
Giles muscling with Hardaway, who wants to take him in the low post. Giles makes him receive the ball out high, though.
Derek Strong. Oakley the rebound. He got that because Larry Johnson had Grant boxed out perfectly, but the Knicks turn it over. Nick Anderson comes up with it. 6th turnover here in the first half for the Knicks.
Yes, Larry Johnson had succeeded in boxing Grant under his basket. He couldn't get a rebound that way. He was so far under the hoop.
About 2.5-second differential between the shot clock and game clock. Harper looking to take Larry Johnson. The stutter move. And a hand check called on Johnson. With only 1 on the shot clock, and the Knicks are over the limit. Coming up at halftime, the Tri-State Jeep and Eagle halftime report. There's only 1 Jeep, and it's only at your Tri-State Jeep and Eagle dealer. Bill Daughtry back at the MSG Sports Desk. He'll have details on the Damon Stoudemire trade to Portland for Kenny Anderson and others involved as well. Plus, John and I will have first half highlights. That foul on Larry Johnson, his 3rd. With 3.6 seconds remaining, Harper misses the first. And that's the trade today. Stoudemire has been rumored, and Portland gets him. Stoudemire, who's from Portland, has said he did not want to go back there. And he's going to have to report to the Blazers. Raptors get Kenny Anderson, Gary Trent, Alvin Williams, the kid out of Villanova, who's a nice-looking rookie. Starks mauled by Anderson. They call a travel. Wow! Anderson is going to foul him because the Magic had a foul to give. But Starks, anticipating it, took the extra step. It was a sound defensive play by the Magic, and they got an extra break when Starks traveled.
Well, they got the ball out of a man's hands who can make a half-court shot. That's one thing they had in mind, and that was Starks.
2.8 seconds remaining. Plenty of time for the Magic to get off a quality shot. Knicks lead is 6. Oakley on the steal. Oakley driving down the lane. Stuffs it in at the buzzer. No, they wave it off. It's no good. It came after the buzzer. And you know what, John? I think it was the right call. Jeff Van Gundy is upset, but it appeared to be the right call. We're going to take a look again.
It seemed the light went off after the clock.
It's the buzzer that's the key. You have to listen to the buzzer. That's the signal. Boy, that is so close. That's a very difficult call because it comes on a dunk. It's easier to judge it when you're taking a shot. You tend to hold on to the ball a little longer when you dunk.
You can see the light on as he's releasing it into the basket. That's a super hard call.
I think he still had, the ball was still in his hand when the buzzer sounded.
So did the referee.
But a good half for the Knicks here at the arena in Orlando. They lead the Magic by 6. The Sports Desk coming up after this timeout. The Orlando Magic. The numbers from the first half, and again, John, excellent shooting on the road.
Well, that's certainly not an automatic, Mike. As we know, when you travel, it's usually a much tougher situation on the road, but the Knicks are dispelling those figures of the past. And the Magic doing a little better job getting to the line 14 times. Pretty even in the rebounding department. Thankfully, the Knicks have Buck Williams back now. How about the fast break points? That's shocking. 14-0 favor of the Knicks. Turnover situation under control for the Knicks as well. A very solid first half for the Knicks. Different from the last time they were here on December 30th when they came out in the second half and picked it up and held the Orlando Magic to 11 points in the third quarter.
Two areas of foul concern, however. As we said, Larry Johnson and Chris Dudley both with 3 apiece. Hardaway. Tony Hardaway now 0 for 4 from the field. He is not 100% between coming back from the knee and the calf injury. And quite honestly, all he's been through this week. 48-42, Knicks lead by 6 opening minutes here on the third. Shot clock down to 7 already. Houston against Hardaway. Allen Houston, nice fake. Cannot put it down. Cycli lost it. And a foul's going to be called on Chris Dudley. And that's going to be the 4th.
Chris Dudley.
That's a tough foul in that the Magic had the ball. Take a look at it now. Everybody competing for that basketball. I don't understand why the foul's on Dudley. His arm is wrapped up with Cycli. The Magic ball. No harm done.
I think just because Cycli had more chance of getting the basketball, but I agree with you, John. Hardaway.
I got yours.
Grant. Oakley tips it right to Dudley. Knicks again looks to push it up the floor. The Magic's transition defense has not been solid. Oakley's pass deflected and a turnover. Number 8 for the Knicks.
No deception by Charles on that pass. He just kind of looked at the man he wanted to throw it to and made it easy for the defense to get in the way.
Cycli trying to get free, going at Dudley, who's got the 4 fouls. Without hit, and Houston with a rebound. Allen Houston has 3 boards. He had 5 in the last game, trying to help out on the rebounding department. And Ward called for travel. Nine turnovers now for the Knicks. And again, the number that Jeff Van Gundy points to is under 15, or 15 and under. Hardaway looking to post up Ward. Knicks immediately double him. Anderson left open for a 2-pointer.
Well, they got what they wanted out of that offensive set. Good open shot.
Open shot for Oakley. Knocks it down. Charles Oakley in double figures with 10. And the Knicks lead it 50-42. Jeff Van Gundy urging his team on to keep up the defensive intensity. Double figures with 10. And the Knicks lead it 50-42. Jeff Van Gundy urging his team on to keep up the defensive intensity. Ward with a steal from behind. Hardaway gets it back. Feed underneath the outlaw, and he throws the layup. Cycli right there. Knocked out of his hands, and Ward picks it up. Cycli screaming for a foul, not getting back on defense. Charlie Ward on the leaner and the roll. And the Knicks now with their largest lead of the game, a 10-point advantage.
See how the Magic let Charlie Ward get in so tightly? Boy, their defense is a soft spot, so to speak. They're just not hard enough to keep the Knicks from what they want to get done.
And a timeout. Ronnie Cycli spending the time arguing instead of getting back on D. And the Knicks have a 10-point lead. In an NBA game. Well, remember, when you're having good times with good friends, drink responsibly, because friends know when to say when. A reminder from your friends at Budweiser. 2.5 remaining. 2.5 gone by, I should say, here in the third. And here's Ronnie Cycli. Watch, he feels he gets fouled on this, and he doesn't get back on defense. Arguing with the officials while the Knicks are getting back and getting a fast break, and then Cycli finally jogs into the picture.
Yes, that was very costly.
And there you see the Magic 0 for 6 here in the third. Knicks lead it by 10. A little over 2.5 into the third quarter. Anderson. Oakley boxing out, grabs the rebound. And a loose ball foul is going to be called against Ron Cycli. Teddy Bernhardt telling him to get out of the way. Cycli blocking his vision of the score channel. It was playful fun.
Second first team foul.
Again, Oakley feels his man boxing out, John.
Yes, Knicks all over the boards, and Charles had the inside position.
Houston pass deflected. Cycli tips it to Hardaway. Ahead now to Anderson. Beautiful play for the Magic.
That may be the prettiest team play of the evening.
Knicks turned it over 7 times in the first half. They have 3 turnovers in the first 3 minutes of the third quarter. The lead is 8.
Allen Houston coming off that pick of Dudley.
Hicks misses the shot. That went in and out, but he got fouled. He got hit by Anderson, who has a word for Bob Delaney.
Foul number 25.
Allen Houston will go to the line for the first time. And that's where he's been racking up the points.
Allen
Houston shooting from the free throw line, 87%. Charlie Ward with a cut. Mike Saunders attending to him. Houston connects on the first free throw. Eastern Conference standings. Knicks currently in 8th place. A game behind the Cavs and the Nets. Magic, of course, still one of those teams below that, hoping to get in. Allen Houston missing 1 of 2.
Right now, the Magic are 3.5 behind the Knicks. That's why these games are very important for both teams.
Hardaway. Anderson saves it from being a turnover. Shot clock, however, gets down to 5. Anderson fighting over a screen. Look at Oakley's defense. What defense from Oakley, and Houston comes up with a loose ball. Allen Houston coming the other way. Ball deflected out of bounds by Anderson.
You put that ball in the front of a defender, that you're asking for it to be stolen. There's another look at the Eastern Conference.
And the other 5 teams, all with a legitimate shot. Even the Boston Celtics this year, and who would have thought that prior to the season?
They've done a great job. Who's their coach, Mike? Keeps slipping my mind. But Rick Pitino has really done a magnificent job with the Celtics.
Celtics out on the West Coast right now, an 8-game trip. Knicks, of course, go out west next week. Denver, Utah, and Portland. 3 games in 4 nights. Oakley took his eye off it. Full Outlaw guarding Allen Houston. Houston trying to make something. Outlaw stays with him nicely. Larry Johnson with a long-range shot. Larry Johnson with 13 points. And the Knicks, with their largest lead of the game, an 11-point advantage.
Well, when that ball's going in at better than 50%, everything looks a lot easier, and the team comes together, and it just helps their defense, too, because they're pulling together now better and better.
Knicks doing a lot of talking defensively, working very well together. Bo Outlaw.
You see how flat-footed the offense was as Outlaw went into his thing? They had no shot at a rebound unless it happened to bounce into one of the Magic's hands.
55-44. Knicks with an 11-point lead. Johnson. Larry Johnson connects. And the Knicks lead it by 13. Johnson 7 of 9 from the field. He's got 15 to lead all scorers. Knicks have really come out strong here in the third. 9-2 to begin the period. Cycling. Cannot hit. Ball tipped out of bounds by Allen Houston. And it's going to be Magic ball. Magic woeful shooting here in this period. They're just 1 for 10.
The consistent theme for the Knicks from the outset of this game has been hard work. They've been just pushing, putting out as much as possible at both ends of the court.
Grant, another miss. 1 for 11 in the second half thus far. A 13-point Knick lead. Oakley trying to make a move on Grant. Blocked by Grant, but he drew the foul. Oakley and Grant always have a little extra war out there. Of course, going back with Grant's days with the Chicago Bulls, as Grant picks up his second foul, well, third team foul.
Excuse me, Mike. Charles Oakley was the big brother then. And he used to mash the younger Grant around a bit in practice. And Charles had the inside position, so to speak, as the main man at the forward position. And his style of play also established him even more so as he was a rough guy, as he still is. And Grant's game, however, grew over time, and then Charles was traded to the Knicks. Grant stepped in and, of course, has become one of the outstanding power forwards in the NBA. In fact, over the last 10 years, one of the few ever to be shooting over 50% a season for 10 straight years.
Each year he's done that. The NBA record, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, 19 straight years in a row, 50% or better from the field. Anderson, way off the mark. Outlaw the rebound. Hardaway. Outlaw tip, won't go. Ball loose. Oakley tips it right to Ward, and Ward will hold on to it. They are 1 for 14 here in the third. Oakley. Houston hustles and gets the rebound. Fires the jumper. It's good. Allen Houston drills the shot. And the Knicks lead by 16, taking control here in the third quarter.
All hustle. All hustle by the Knicks.
Timeout called by the Magic. Knicks have outscored Orlando 12-2 here in the third with 5:43 remaining. Their largest lead of the game, a 16-point advantage.
You'll see Keith Van Horn to carry Kittles. Kittles with the miss, but the all-star Jason Williams with the putback. He's got 16 nets in control in the third.
The Magic crowd trying to get the Magic players into this one. Knicks have dominating here in the third. They lead by 16, courtesy of a 12-2 start to the period. Knicks defense has been absolutely sensational. Magic 1 of 14 from the field in the third quarter. Harper with 2 on the shot clock. Wild shot. Houston the rebound. Larry Johnson. Knicks showing some patience offensively. Houston with a move around Anderson. Left-handed puts it in. And the Knicks lead by 18.
Once again, being beaten off the dribble. Allen Houston rolls right in that 1 out of 15 from the field, and the ensuing score for the Knicks.
And the Knicks now for the game at 60%. Magic 32%. Anderson. Harper. Derek Harper can't connect. Ball knocked loose, picked up by the Knicks.
No second shots either throughout this game for Orlando.
Charlie Ward hard to the basket, banks it in, and a 20-point lead for the Knicks with 4.5 remaining in the third.
You know, Ward didn't even have a man on him. He got the ball, and his man wasn't even near him.
The Knicks blowing out the Magic here in the third quarter. This defensive sequence, John, is as good as it gets. Knicks contesting every shot. Finally, the drought ends as Bo Outlaw, of all people, hits from the perimeter.
Yes, Bo does all of his shooting normally right around the basket.
Hits from the perimeter.
Yes, Bo does all of his shooting normally right around the basket.
They had missed their first 8, then hit one, then missed 8 more, and Outlaw hits one. An 18-point Knick lead. Shot clock down to 8. Charlie Ward again blocked by Grant, but a whistle and a foul, and Ward will go to the free throw line.
Foul number 54, Horace Grant. His third, 14th foul.
Everybody,
Beautiful drive by Houston a few moments ago. Anderson playing up tightly on him. 3 people defending Allen Houston, and he beats him, knocks him down 1, 2, 3 with that driving layup.
everybody getting involved with little things here in this third quarter, as Ward will shoot his first 2 free throws of the night. 6 points, 4 assists for Charlie Ward. Knicks' lead at halftime was just 6.
The last time they were here, they were down about, I think it was 6 points at the half, and then came out and did a 27-11 run to the third quarter score. 27-11. That's when the Knicks won that last game here, but throughout this game, they have been consistent. They haven't had down spells.
Once again, they go 1 of 2 from the line. Just over 3.5 remaining in the third. Nick Anderson in and out. Charlie Ward rips down the rebound. Knicks again, looks to break. Houston pulls back, knocks it down. Allen Houston with 13. And the Knicks with a 21-point lead.
I'll tell you, Chuck Daly, 2-time champion leader, Dream Team coach, Hall of Famer. is having a tough time with his team because they are not, Danny Shay's on that jumper, they are not picking up their defensive responsibilities even when the Knicks get over half court, top of the circle. Sometimes they're not picking them up at all.
Yeah, they're letting their poor shooting affect them at the other end of the floor. Knicks lead is 19, just under 3 minutes remaining. That's the shooting for the game. And Oakley is fouled by Bo Outlaw, and the two of them push and shove each other.
Charles Oakley looking at the official, indicating, hey, that little man is bothering me. Charles didn't even get angry. Just wanted to make sure the official saw it.
It's only the third team foul.
Charles was using that left elbow a little bit, which Outlaw reacted to.
Oakley with the little shove first, and Outlaw reacts to that. That is, excuse me, the 15th foul. So the Magic over the limit. You see Derek Harper chatting with his former teammates. Harper and Oakley were good buddies. Oakley having another strong game, 12 points, 5 rebounds, and his defense has been great as the two of them yapping away. This is friendly stuff because these two guys, again, were close and having some fun with each other, although Oakley, maybe it's not as friendly as I thought. Both of them had smiles on their face. Jeff Van Gundy's yelling for Oakley to concentrate and forget about the other stuff. When you're up by 20, that's the right attitude to take. You know, from a coaching standpoint, you love those 20-point leads, but I think you'd like them more toward the end of the game. Because if the players start looking at the scoreboard, it invariably happens. You soften up a bit, and the other team, out of pride, is back in. How many times have we seen that? And a foul called, Charlie Ward. It's only the second team foul against the Knicks. And for Ward, his second. And Derek Harper, who was such a fan favorite in New York, still has that toughness about him. There you see the third quarter scoring, the domination by the Knicks. Outlaw, Ward stripped it, got it back. We go right back to Outlaw. And Outlaw, they're going to call a foul on Mills. Mills thought he was going to get a travel there. Magic will take it out of bounds again as Mills picks up his second.
His second, third team foul.
Just under 2.5 remaining in the third. Knicks lead it by 21. There have not been a lot of games where the Knicks have this kind of lead. Outlaw underneath, deflected. Derek Strong trying to get position. Knocked away, picked up. Shays has it. Shays misses the layup. Second one, he puts it in.
Danny Shays didn't have to go that far at 6'11", right under the basket, just extended his arms up to the basket.
Delay of game warning called against the Knicks. Two minutes remaining here on the third. Knicks with a 19-point lead. And a legal defense called against the Magic. I believe that's their second, so a technical foul. Long night thus far for Chuck Daly.
Alan Houston will shoot the technical.
Alan Houston connecting on the technical.
Danny Shays on the floor now for the season, averaging 12 minutes a game. He did not play in the win over Minnesota. And he's getting less time than that average indicates. But can be very valuable, as the Knicks found out last season in New York when they marched in with a decimated Orlando Magic team, and Danny Shays led his team to victory.
Houston with the left hand gets the roll. Allen Houston flipping it in. And the Knicks lead it 72-50. This is their largest lead of the game.
He got that pass just at the right moment, too.
Houston, 10 of his 16 have come here in the third. Knicks shooting 62% from the field. Bo Outlaw gliding to the basket, and he draws the foul. Larry Johnson picks up his fourth. So Outlaw to the free throw line with 1:27 remaining. You know, John, trying to think back, as we've talked about, since Patrick Ewing went out with the injury, the Knicks are 11-10. Every game has been close. This has to be the largest lead since Ewing went out with the injury. There have not been many like this at all.
Side story today in USA Today about Bo Outlaw, a cute story, saying he'll never forget draft day in 1993. He's a graduate of the University of Houston. Said his mother cried when her son's name was never called during the draft. Bo said, I told her not to worry. I never doubted my skills. And boy, nicely done by him, because he's carved his way into a meaningful career in the NBA. And now among the top 15 in blocked shots, averaging 9 points a game and 7 rebounds for the Magic, doing a heck of a job. Definitely consideration for one of the most improved players in the NBA.
Yeah, he is a real nice story, hard-working player. 20-point lead for the Knicks here on the third. Starks draws the foul. Magic over the limit.
Foul number 24, Dan Shays.
Shays picks up the personal. That's his first.
Penalty situation.
Oh, John Starks head down, charging forward. Danny Shays actually treated him defensively like he will should he play for another 10, 12 years and with the backyard with his kids. Hey, guy gets by, just push him.
Shays 38. Starks now with 10 points. Knicks now with 4 players in double figures. Chris Childs comes in. Childs played a superb first half with 6 assists. Knicks getting a little something from everyone. This is one of those total team efforts thus far. There's still over a quarter to go, but this third quarter has been as good as it gets for the Knicks.
That's what the script calls for these New York Knicks. And it makes it very hard for teams to prepare for them, because they have, on a nightly basis, shown they have players who can beat you, and they add up to 4 or 5 different guys who can have big nights.
As the Magic sinking like the Titanic here in the third. I'm going to get every Academy Award nominated picture in. As good as it gets, Titanic.
Which I saw last night.
Eric Harper shooting 2.
Eric Harper can still afford a laugh. He's not happy with the way things have gone here in Orlando. Injuries and the team with its inconsistent play. He is such a competitor.
Remember last time we were here, Mike, the subject was, is this his last year or will he continue to play? Remember he was telling you how he missed his children and the 2 years of watching him grow up, and I whispered to him later, hey, is this true? He said, I don't know, I'm not sure.
One 20-point game and already you're thinking ahead to next season. The lead for the Knicks is 19. Just over a minute remaining here in what has been a dominating third quarter for the Knicks. Ball deflected. Knicks getting a little sloppy. 11 turnovers for the game. Bo Outlaw now posting up Allen Houston. Shays, the big fella. And it goes and hits over the backboard. So the Knicks will get it back. And we'll have timeout. This team, as we mentioned, 2 games. And it goes and hits over the backboard. So the Knicks will get it back, and we'll have timeout. This team, as we mentioned, 2 games under 500. The injuries a lot to do with that when you have your best player out 32 games. Derek Strong, Nick Anderson, and Harper also missing double-digit amount of games. And everybody else nicked up. And with all the new faces, tough to get into kind of a rhythm. It's not been an easy year for Chuck Daly. 38 seconds remaining in the third. Knicks by 19. And his mom just recently hospitalized back in New Jersey. We want to send our best wishes to Mrs. Walsh. Your son's doing great down here. So a void left by Tim Walsh. And in his place, Mike Stoner's got some good help in Saeed Hamden. And there's Saeed, one of the newest members of the Knicks staff, the assistant trainer.
Saeed asked before the game for us to say hello to his son Matthew, who turns 5 today. And Dad will be home late tonight. Matthew, you better be in bed or you're in big trouble.
Very late. Knicks with a 19-point lead. Half-minute remaining here in the third. Houston called for travel. This moved his feet a little bit. Knicks now with 12 turnovers.
Allen drifts into that once in a while, where he lifts that pivot foot.
Outlaw backing in. Boy, that's a great effort.
That's using your lower body, I'd say, to success. His game.
Final seconds of the third quarter, and Harper called for a foul, which is going to send Childs to the line.
Foul number 12.
So Derek Harper picks up his first foul, and Childs to the free throw line.
Chris Childs shooting 2.
Knicks and Cavs on Sunday, right here on the MSG Network. A little later start, tip-off at about 8:10. Our coverage begins 7:30 with MCS Cannon game night. The Knicks and the Cavaliers. Childs hits the first. That'll be a good one. Brevin Knight. And Gauskas, who's coming off his fine all-star performance in the rookie game. Another game against an Eastern Conference team that the Knicks are battling for playoff position. Started with Charlotte Tuesday, tonight Orlando. And then Sunday night against the Cavaliers. Knicks lead back to 19. Final seconds here of the third. Nick Anderson trying to get free for a hoist shot. Puts it up. And off the mark. And that will end the third quarter. A strong one for the Knicks as they outscore the Orlando Magic 27-14. Allen Houston had 10 of his 16 here in this third quarter. Knicks defense was excellent. 3 quarters complete. The Knicks lead it by 19.
20-10-10. That's points, that's rebounds, that's assists. Anthony Bowie. Very controversial triple-double too, because Doug Collins wasn't happy about the Orlando Magic calling a timeout so he could get an assist at the end of the game. And Bowie tries to shake hands with Doug Collins, who was disgusted by that.
Quite frankly, I kind of see Doug Collins' viewpoint on that. You get the game's over. Not that it's rubbing in, but it's a little tainted on that. Anthony Bowie, real popular guy already with his teammates and a good guy. He's kind of caught in a funny situation. Yeah. But I understand Collins' sentiment.
Yeah, you could see where he didn't want to shake hands with a contrived triple-double from his perspective, but Bowie being a nice guy, very excited about it. So at least it gave us a chance to review that. Good evening he had, because one assist certainly didn't mar the fine effort he had in that game.
So the Knicks begin the fourth quarter after a dominating third period in which the Magic shot 5 of 24 from the field. And they lead by 19 here in the final 12 minutes. Mills hesitates, then puts it in. Chris Mills now in double figures with 10. The 5th Knick to hit double figures in scoring. Mills is 4 of 5 from the field. Magic turn it over for the 10th time. Starks the 3. Harper will let it go out of bounds. Again, the first couple of minutes so important. You give the Magic, especially when a team's down by so many, give them any bit of a little run here. Crowd will get back into it, and the momentum. So the first 3 minutes vital now for Jeff Van Gundy's club.
62% shooting by the Knicks right now.
Derek Strong way off. Knicks again look to break. Childs pass deflected by Outlaw. And the Knicks will regain. Anthony Hardaway is having a very poor game. He's only played 24 minutes. Has not had a field goal. 3 assists, and including those 2 points. Knicks with 19 on the shot clock.
Well, I remember the many times here, Mike, when this arena was electric, loud, wild, tremendous excitement here. And now this team has really taken the energy out of the crowd as well.
Knicks turn it over. Magic almost turn it over. Eight on the shot clock. Shay's little jump hook. Nice move from Danny Shay's. And it's 77-58. Knicks by 19. By the way, John, we've confirmed that the 22-point lead the Knicks had in the third was their largest since Ewing went down with the injury.
So you made a very good guess.
Well, we've had so many close games. We can't remember the last time the Knicks were up by this much. Allen Houston knocks it in, a three-pointer. Allen Houston coming alive in the second half. He's got 19 for the game to lead all scores. 13 in the second half. The lead back to 22. And illegal defense called against the Knicks. Producer Howie Singer tells us that the last Knicks lead this big was against the Celtics on Martin Luther King Jr. Day.
Meanwhile, Chuck Daly, it appears, has checked out on Ronnie Cycli. Gerald Wilkins, the forgotten man, at the end of the bench.
Wilkins not here tonight. Had not been playing much. He's got a personal matter to deal with.
Hadn't played in 3 of the last 5 games as well.
Starks called for the foul. A little tripping foul. Starks with a smile at Bob Delaney.
His
Second foul on Starks. First on the Knicks here in the fourth. And this place, as we mentioned earlier, one of the loudest in the arena in the NBA, is extremely quiet. That's why. Magic have not played well at home this year. They're 500, 11-11. Anderson. And he's hammered by Starks. A very hard foul. And has a word for Starks afterwards. Starks says nothing and walks away.
His second team foul.
Third foul on Starks.
Nick Anderson.
So Anderson will shoot 2. Of course, this has been the problem area for Nick Anderson. Remember back in the NBA Finals a few years ago, had a nightmare from the free throw line that lost the game for the Magic, and he has not been the same since. And I don't mean just from the free throw line. His overall game, this year he's at 45%. He's the guy that one shot 74% from the line. Hits a pair here.
The odd part of you were mentioning a home record at 500, Mike. The odd part of this Magic team, they have won games recently, winning 4 of their last 6 against Minnesota, Washington, Atlanta, Houston. Not bad.
Yep.
Good wins.
Some quality wins.
And they had one of those 2 games that they lost in the last 6 was a 2-pointer at Phoenix. So the only bad one was to Indiana after last Tuesday after the All-Star game.
That foul, by the way, on Harper was his second. Now another foul against the Magic.
Foul number 45.
Bo Outlaw picks up his third. Second team foul against the Magic. There's some fans in the upper deck chanting, "Let's go Magic," as Allen Houston misfires. Other than that, people are just sitting and saying nothing. This place is absolutely silent. A 20-point fires. Other than that, people are just sitting and saying nothing. This place is absolutely silent. A 20-point Knick lead. 3 minutes gone by here in the fourth. Harper to Strong. Strong blocked by Houston. Strong gets it back. Left-handed and dumps it in.
The man worked for his basket. The Knicks continue, however, to do such a good job of plugging holes in their defense, helping out, which is the name of the Knicks style of play on defense, helping out.
Childs and Harper getting into it right now. A lot of chatter going on between the two. Derek Harper a bit frustrated, certainly with the play of his team, as he picks up his third team foul as well.
If their relationship isn't as deep as Harper is with so many of the other Knicks, naturally. But you can see Childs has considerable respect for Derek Harper.
Childs really the man that replaced him when he signed as a free agent, and Harper let go. And he did. Starks three-pointer will not make it. Oakley keeps it alive. Mills blocked from behind. Ball knocked loose, but Oakley comes away. Good hustle from Charles Oakley and Chris Mills. Feeds him in. 20.
Chris Mills.
4 minutes gone by here in the fourth. Shays. He's been the best shooter on the team. Shays 4 of 6 for 8 points. on a team that's shooting 36% from the field. .8 Knick lead. Childs. And he's called for travel. Childs arguing. Now, he's got to be careful. There's no need for that, especially when you're up by so many. Right now, the Knicks in control. They do not need to have anyone lose control. Outlaw. The strong, and a chance for a three-point play. Knicks starting, John, to get very sloppy right now.
Well, when you let up in the intensity department on defense, just a trifle, this is what happens. All of a sudden, good plays appear from the other guys. You're not protecting the passing lanes. You're not contesting passes and shots as much. It's normal, though. It's got to happen with a big lead when you get it with a lot of time.
Strong hitting the free throw. And all of a sudden, the Magic within 15. Knicks are up by as many as 22, but Orlando with a 9-2 run. And there's still over 7 minutes remaining. As John said earlier, teams get up by a lot early. You lose your focus. Starts 6 on the shot clock. Mills a couple of fakes to Johnson. Johnson banks it in. That's a big basket. With 1 on the shot clock, Larry Johnson puts the Knicks back up by 17. Johnson 8 of 10 from the field, 17 points. Kenny Shea 5 of 7 from the field, 84-69. Knicks by 15.
He's got life in those legs. He's looking good.
Ronnie Cycli has been on the bench for a long time. Chuck Daly obviously displeased with his play. Oakley the fake. Mills with the jumper. Childs the offensive rebound. And Knicks should be wise, take time off the clock on each possession. Approaching the midway point of the fourth quarter. Knicks with a 15-point lead. Nice ball movement. And Johnson. Mills right there, and a foul. Chris Mills made a beautiful pass. Johnson threw up the air ball, but Mills right there to pick up the slack.
Look, Larry's whispering that, hey, that was a pass, buddy. But the official scorer might say, I think he intended to shoot that ball. But what a nice pass it turned out to be.
Chris Mills, 14 points, Knicks up by 17. In Orlando, Knicks leading by 17. Time for our MCS Cannon game summary. Knicks have led by as many as 22. Magic trying to make a run here in the fourth, but the Knicks shooting continues to be very strong.
Look at that, 59% on the road. Fast break points, making the Orlando Magic look old. Hardaway very much under control. You almost feel sorry for Hardaway, you know. All of the expectations from him. He's got 2 points, hasn't been shooting the ball well at all. Larry Johnson is hot as ever. And funny, the Knicks outscored the Magic last time. He had 27-11 in the third. They're even doing better, considering as the job they did tonight. They didn't have any let up at all.
Chris Mills shooting 1.
So Mills will go to the free throw line. Chris Mills making some big plays. 14 points for Mills, 6 of 9 from the field.
Hey, games like this, you know, the Knicks are under such pressure to win, actually. And games like this really bring the word fun back to basketball for this team. It's a full team effort.
And that's been the case all night long. Strong trying to post up Oakley. And Oakley with a bump. Charles Oakley picks up his third. Knicks not over the limit yet.
Charles Oakley was walking over to Strong as if he was waiting for a referee to come in and start counting.
His third, 14th foul.
Oakley has really picked up his play in recent weeks. He's had some fabulous games at near triple-double on Tuesday. His defense, especially here in the second half, has been absolutely brilliant. The entire team, the team defense has been excellent. A whistle and a foul's going to be called on Chris Mills. Mills holding down low. Now the Knicks over the limit. Mills picks up his third. 5:39 remaining in the fourth, an 18-point Knick lead.
Outlaw, shooting 2.
So Bo Outlaw will go to the line. Outlaw 14.7 rebounds.
One of Outlaw's bright moments of late was a win against Atlanta 4 games ago. A 1-point win, and that was because of Outlaw's jump shot with a second left on the game, 23 points, 11 of 15 from the field, 17 rebounds for Bo Outlaw against the Atlanta Hawks.
Signed in the offseason a 2-year deal for $2.2 million from a guy that spent time in the CBA, not drafted. The coaching staff loves him. And he hits a couple of free throws, which is rare for Bo Outlaw. 87-71. Magic pull within 16, 5.5 remaining. There's still plenty of time. For the way the Magic shoot. Oakley to Johnson. Larry Johnson again. Larry Johnson now 9 of 12 from the field. He's got 19 points.
You know, it seems that the secondary defenders on Orlando, in other words, the guys not guarding the man with the ball are asleep.
Magic misfire. Anderson picks it up. Shays. Oh, again, Shays. He's putting on a show. Remember last year, John played well against the Knicks.
Well, Danny Shays has, he comes from good breeding, Mike, as we know. His dad. Well, I had the pleasure of seeing at the recent All-Star weekend at the dinner that the ex-NBA pros have, an organization known as Ex-Pro. Bob Pettit, Cousy, all the great ones were there. Havlicek, us another look at Danny. Oscar Robertson and Danny's father, Dolph, was there. I told him we had mentioned his name. We had just seen Kevin Garnett in Minnesota raving about his accomplishments at such a young age, and I wanted Dolph to know that we reminded the world that he graduated from NYU at 19 and was Rookie of the Year at 20 in the NBA.
Dinner, by the way, you speak of. On Knicks game night on Sunday night, we'll have a special feature, Sam Marciano. We'll have that. Danny just passed Dolph this year in games played in his career. And with all due respect, that will be the only number that he will pass his dad in. Dad, one of the NBA's 50 great players. 91-73. Shays again. A shooting clinic by Danny Shays, the 38-year-old, single-handedly keeping some hope for the Magic. But they're running out of time. 4.5 remaining. Knick lead is 16. Shays, 38-year-old, single-handedly keeping some hope for the Magic. But they're running out of time. 4.5 remaining. Knick lead is 16. Shays, 7 of 9. And they've all been from outside with the exception of maybe 1 or 2. And a travel called on Mills. The season high, by the way, for Shays as the Knicks turn it over once again. Knicks now with 14 turnovers. That's the amount they had against Charlotte. And that's where Jeff Van Gundy wants it, under 15 turnovers per game.
Jeff Van Gundy would also like, but he wouldn't say it, of course, 59% shooting on the road. That's what his team has been doing, and is doing as of right now.
John Starks called for a hold, and that's exactly what the Knicks do not want. Give the Magic a chance to score with the clock stopped. Right now, let's head back to New York, get an update from Bill Daughtry. Bill?
Thank you very much, Mike Breen. At the Meadowlands, the New Jersey Nets ripped the Raptors. Little defense here. Lucius Harris at the block on Christie. Sherman Douglas saves it to Sam Cassell, who gets it back to Lucius to Swatter for the 3. Nets win at 130-115. Back to Orlando.
Thank you, Bill. Nick Anderson missing his first free throw. Now with another one. Anderson 14 points tonight. 2 very big free throws if the Magic have any hope of trying to get back and win this one. Can't do it that way with 3:55 remaining. A 16-point Knick lead. Knicks exploding in the third quarter to open this game up. They went up by as many as 22. Larry Johnson. A rare miss tonight. Oakley keeps it alive. Excellent effort from Charles Oakley, and Jeff Van Gundy wants a timeout. 3:37 remaining. Fourth quarter in Orlando. 91-75. Knicks by 16.
Garden last April 4th. The Magic came in with a decimated team. So many players were out. You had to feel sorry for the fans. They wouldn't see a game. The Knicks were going to run over the Magic. And Danny Shays came out with a remarkable performance in his 16th year then, with 21 points, 11 rebounds, and a career-high 6 steals. And the Orlando Magic went on to win 93-84.
Oakley over Shays. Strong to rebound. Orlando is Shea's 7th NBA team. He's played with Utah, Denver, Milwaukee, the Lakers, Phoenix, Miami, and now Orlando. Brian Evans, the rookie from Indiana. Outlaw, a couple of fakes, and Oakley hammers it, and that's going to be a flagrant foul, and rightfully so. Charles Oakley, I think, has been ejected from the game. Mark and Larry Johnson have words, and Oakley's been ejected. That's a flagrant foul. And when you're up by this many points at this point in the game, there's no need for a foul like that. Absolutely. A poor decision from Charles Oakley.
And it was ruled a flagrant 2, ejection.
Bob Delaney made the call very quickly. Oakley had a hard foul earlier in the period, and he's done. Just taking a wild swat, and that's how you can injure a player. There's Evans, who's in his 2nd year out of Indiana, by the way.
Charles will claim he's trying to block the shot, but it's a tough sale to the official when you're behind a man like that. And the risk of really hurting a person exists, and that's what the ruling was.
Outlaw was shaken up on the play. It's 2 shots, plus the Magic will get the ball. And, you know, Oakley can say he's going for the ball, but not on that play. There's no need for that type of play.
Talking about a very strong person, Oakley at 6'9". He's got to be 250, and he's a guy that pounds weights all the time, and he's just very strong, and he could have really severely hurt Outlaw.
Well, that really whacked him on the head. Again, he could be going for the ball, but that's a dangerous foul. That is a very dangerous foul.
Just too clumsy a play.
And when officials make the, you know, I've always been, because there's no need for that, and a player can get hurt and be Outlaw after getting hit. I like the officials when they come in make a quick decision and say, we don't need that type of fouls here in this game. And Delaney did that, a very quick decision. And also, from a standpoint from the Knicks, is you give them the 2 free throws, you give them a last chance, you give them the ball again. And plus, Oakley had a terrific game, in one of his typical games where his defense, and we said it earlier, brilliant defense here in the 2nd half, and he's playing another stellar game. He's now lost for the rest of the game.
Remember the last game, there was a flagrant foul here, too, with Derek Harper clocking Chris Dudley and breaking his nose with a swing of the arm.
This is the closest the Magic have been. Outlaw sitting here next to Jeff Van Gundy. Just asked him, was that a good play? He wanted to know.
There's a man with an open mind, huh?
Yeah, I guess so. And an offensive foul. Good defense from Allen Houston.
You know, that's a foul you rarely see called. It usually goes in the favor of the offensive player.
Of course, there was a hard foul earlier this year, as mentioned. Derek Harper. And Dudley breaking his nose on the play.
Bad feeling for Chris Dudley that night. Wow.
Johnson short. 91-77. This lead is still 14 with 2.5 to play in the 4th. Outlaw blocked by Mills. Chris Mills with a solid defensive play.
It's in no hurry to rush into their offense now.
2:15 remaining. Houston with the jumper. Allen Houston now with 21. And Houston has hit 20 points or more now for 8 games in a row. Knicks lead at 93-77. Shays. Puts it in again. Danny Shays. What a performance in what appears to be a losing effort. 93-79. I think Chuck Daly sending a message to Ron Steikley. And Childs is fouled hard. Jeff Van Gundy running out to half court to make sure nobody gets involved in anything else. Chuck Daly just yelling something down toward the Knicks bench. Keep driving in a sarcastic way. I think he's upset with the Knicks, where the Knicks are playing right now. Childs having some words. Childs wanted a flagrant foul. Instead he gets caught with a technical foul. Him and Derek Harper. And, you know, I think this is one of the reasons why Bob Delaney called that flagrant 2 on Charles Oakley, because he could see that it's been getting out of hand. Well, now, Derek Harper's just been ejected for...
A second technical foul on number 12, Derek Harper, and he is ejected.
Harper telling Teddy Bernhardt, get your hands off me. So his 2 technical fouls, automatic ejection. Harper still having words. Frustration certainly for the Magic in a horrible performance in what's been a physical game. Chuck Daly letting Teddy Bernhardt know how he feels. 1:42 remaining.
Chuck's greater worries are how his team came out and did not play any defense tonight. It set a bad tone.
Childs hits the technical. Now the original technical on Childs and Harper negate each other, no free throws on that, but then Harper's second technical, a 1-shot free throw for Childs, and now Childs will shoot the free throws on this particular play on the foul.
Childs shooting 2.
Yeah, he just pushes him from behind. And that's, you're not trying to defend on that play either. That could have easily been called a flagrant foul as well.
It's impossible to play defense from behind a man like that who's moving and is in front of you.
And Childs could get hurt on a play like that when you have your momentum and get pushed from behind. I'm surprised they didn't call a flagrant on that, John.
Yes.
On the Knicks.
94-79 as Childs misses from the line. 94-79 as Childs misses from the line. 1:36 remaining. Anthony Bowie's into the game, gets the rebound. Knicks have Houston, Mills, Brooks Thompson, Bowie, and Childs, 2 former Magic players, and Bowie and Thompson. This is Brooks Thompson's first game action with the Knicks. And Houston is fouled by Johnny Taylor, the rookie out of Tennessee, Chattanooga, with 1:16 remaining.
Somewhat puzzling that Brian Evans didn't play till the very end of this game. Evans had his season high of 16 against the Knicks in one of the 2 games, and a career high 8 rebounds against the Knicks in the other game. Didn't get a run tonight till the very end.
Now, Houston hits. Houston doing a lot of little things. He's improving his overall game as you take a look at Evans in just his second year. Houston with 23 points. He has 6 rebounds and 4 assists. Thompson knocks it out of bounds. Thompson was a first-round draft pick of these Orlando Magic. 96-79. Evans well off the mark. Mills flips it ahead to Thompson, to Bowie, but Evans with a nice throw. The alley-oop, no good, and a pushing foul called on Mills, who raises his hand and said, yes, I did it. 55.1 seconds remaining. For the Knicks, it probably seems like the clock has stood still. They've been up big through most of the second half, led by 22 in the third when they blew this game open.
How many guys in their 18th season, 17th season rather, Danny Shays, could come on the floor at his size, 6'11", and shoot the ball as well as he did, get up and down the court,
and not be a subject of fan chatter and, you know, oh, look, he's playing great. I mean, the guy came out and he was a player.
17 points in 17 minutes.
Shot the ball very well, a consummate throw, ready to go at all times, and tonight Shays was ready.
96-80. Thompson, that's his first shot as a Knick, off the mark. Shays the rebound. Knicks with a very impressive road win as Allen Houston commits the foul on Shays, stopping the clock with 36.3 remaining.
His first penalty situation.
Take a look at our Toyota matchup for tonight. Do it at the point guard position where Penny Hardaway 0 for 5, just the 2 points. Had a couple of turnovers. Only played 24 minutes.
He has not been shooting the ball lately at all, because he didn't play in the last game. And the prior games, 1 for 6, 4 for 10, 3 for 11, 5 for 18. Hardaway just is not in the groove at all.
Knicks will improve to 12 and 10 without Patrick Ewing. Bowie hits it. A three-pointer for Anthony Bowie, who was a popular player in his years in Orlando. Getting some nice cheers from both Knicks fans in attendance and some Magic fans.
Well, when you're coming off the bench, you hit a shot like that, it's big. It's big for you.
Mills went for the block, got called for the foul with 12.6 remaining. Knicks will now go 6 games over 500. They'll go to 27 and 21. Magic will fall to 3 games under 500, and they'll fall to under 500 at home.
One of the things we haven't really dwelled on at all is the severe loss of Darrell Armstrong to this team. It was announced that he has sustained a torn rotator cuff in his right shoulder,
and he is gone for the season.
Leading assist man on this team, has really grown into a big role.
Final seconds here in Orlando. And there's the buzzer. The Knicks end their road losing streak. They had dropped 4 straight on the road, but blow out the Magic here in the second half and are now 3-0 against the Orlando Magic this season. And the Knicks also now 2-0 since the All-Star break ended. 2 games since the break and 2 solid victories for the Knicks. And of course the Knicks, a lot of road games coming up. Let's take a peek at our Delta Airlines schedule. Next, they'll fly home tonight, play Cleveland, late game on Sunday. We'll have MCS Cannon game night kick off our coverage at 7:30, tip off at about 8:10. Then a 3-game road trip at Denver Tuesday, at Utah Wednesday, and then Friday.